Hello! So today I'm going to talk about How to Build a Boat by Elaine Feeney, the 8th book I've read from the book along list. It's booker season, baby! This book is based around themes of coming of age, depression, family, marriage, control, and grief. We mainly follow two characters, Jamie and Tess, who live in a small community on the west coast of Ireland. But be wary of the blurb on this one, because upon reading it, it would make you think that this is just Jamie, that we are just following Jamie. But no, I would say this book is equally split between Jamie and Tess. Jamie is 13 and he is somewhere on the autistic spectrum. His birth was the cause of his mother's death and he has been raised by his dad, Owen. Jamie is obsessed with building a perpetual motion machine. He feels that if he can build this machine, it will somehow link him to the mother he never met. He suffers with bullies at his new school and a head teacher who also seems determined to push him out of the school because of his needs. In fact, there's quite a few teachers who seem to not understand Jamie. Even though Jamie excels at his studies, he is pigeonholed and ignored because he doesn't fit the mould of a model student. And then we have Tess. Tess is a new teacher at Jamie's school and she is unhappily married to Paul. In fact, the marriage is pretty much dead on arrival when we meet Tess. Tess is embarking upon IVF treatment, but something she is finding it hard to come to terms with. She feels isolated in her marriage with Paul and she also feels a pressure from him and his family. Tess becomes close with a new woodworking teacher at Jamie's school called Tadhg. Tadhg seems to live off-grid and has isolated himself from society. Tess and Jamie become closer. She tries to help Jamie where she can. Pretty much one of the only teachers who takes the small amount of time needed to help Jamie progress. Soon Jamie meets Tadhg and Jamie tells Tadhg about his dreams to make a perpetual motion machine, which is pretty much an impossible task, so Tadhg steers Jamie towards making a boat. Tess, Jamie and Tadhg continue to get closer as we learn this is a story about three people trying to find their place in the world, but mainly to get control of their lives. It's a quiet book that's simple in its prose and plot. So what did I like and what didn't I like? What I liked. I loved the characters in this book. The mix of Jamie, Tess and Tadhg really worked for me. There is loads of heart and humour to be found in their relationship. The combination of their three personalities is the standout for me in this book. The pacing is solid all the way through, and I think the book did a really good job of explaining or showing the frustrations that adults might have with Jamie and the way he sees the world, but also the absolute joy at the way Jamie is and the way he sees the world. It also does a great job of displaying Jamie's frustrations at why the rest of the world can't see it the way that he does. And as already mentioned, this is done in a gentle and simple way. It never labours any of these points, it just lets it flow, and I really liked it for that. What didn't I like? Well, it's mainly one big thing. But for me, this book did not push far enough to be a real character study, but it also doesn't push far enough plot-wise because the plot is really thin, which ultimately has left me wanting in both areas. I think I just wanted more. As soon as I'd really found that connection and flow with the three personalities of Tess, Tadhg and Jamie, the book sort of ends. And it does come to a logical conclusion, but one that was not satisfying for me. I wanted more. I wanted another 300 pages of these characters. I wanted to progress further in their lives. I wanted to see how their relationships built and where it went. It just felt a bit too nothingy. And that's really it for my dislikes. It's just that one thing, but obviously that is a massive thing. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a sweet, gentle book with some real high points. I would say the conversation that Owen and Jamie have with the headmaster really worked for me. I really felt it in that situation and scene. And also the conversation between Tess and Paul in the coffee shop. If you've read this book, you'll know what I mean. That moment really worked for me as well. And that's mainly because of personal experience. But overall, this book was all right to good, and I'd probably fall on good. I'm going to give How to Build a Boat 3 stars out of 5. I just don't think it's going to hang around in my mind for too long. Yeah, I think I'm going to forget about it pretty quickly. Another bang average book from the book along list. It's really starting to feel like the judging panel for the Booker Prize could have taken every single book released within the eligibility window, lined them all up, each grabbed a dart, and just thrown darts at the list. And I think the ones that they landed on would have given us a more interesting list than the one we have. I really don't think I'm alone, but it's just so average, nothing compared to last year's list. The only thing that I'm finding interesting about this year's list is actually a lot of people's favourites, the ones that they hold high, are vastly different from each other. There are no clear consensus on what people are thinking is at the top of the list, but the clear consensus does seem to be that it's a pretty weak list. But enough of all that. Have you read How to Build a Boat and what did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comments below. And as always, I hope you're well. I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.